Kings and queens, your majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well and you're loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you my esteemed subscribers. You are loved, celebrated, and of course appreciated. So according to this man, I stumbled upon a discussion. I stumbled upon a discussion, and there is a reason why I said, okay, let's have this discussion here, because I have a lot of you who watch me, and I think it is right that we do some of these deliberations, right? Now, there is something about African Americans have no culture. I think this should be a heart-to-heart, not to anger anybody, but let's just talk about this with an open mind, and you leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section. You remember, as at last year, there was something that happened in Kenya, and I brought the information here of the African-American young man who came to Kenya. I think he came for visit or holiday or something, or he's trying to return, or he's trying to see if Kenya was better so that he can settle. And he was moving around. He goes around the streets making content, talking about Kenya, and the way he talked down on the Kenyan women spark reaction on the internet, and I believe I brought that here, yeah, and some of you might saw that somewhere or maybe here, and that birthed some intensive debates on the internet, and there are a good number of Africans who concluded that they do not blame him. It is because he has no culture. If he had had a culture, he would have understand that respecting a woman, no matter what, is something that a gentleman does. And I think respecting a woman doesn't have to do with a culture, like a general culture, but if you're good, you're good. If you respect some, it's home training practically, basically. I think so. Home training, how you're brought up, and the qualities that are taught, that you were taught while you were growing. I think maybe it still has a connection with the culture, but some believe that it's because he has no culture. A lot of persons, I do not blame you, because you have no culture. There's no African Americans do not have culture. And when I saw this again, I said, okay, I'm going to leave us with the discussion. Let's listen to it, and then you leave your thoughts there, and we take it off from there together.
African Americans in this country are the only groups. They have no culture. It depends on who you meet, where you meet them.
But currently, there's not an African American culture?
No.
Yes, there is.
What is it? Name two value systems in the African American culture.
Value system?
Yes. Name two taboos in the African American culture system. Name two traditions, by the way, in the African American culture system. There is no value for freedom if you don't understand what it is. The concept of free. You have to have a foundation on which it would balance when you ask for it. Civil rights, they give it to you. You have no culture. Nancy, you've been here, born here. Why would you be surprised if I say African Americans don't have a culture? What, twerking? So anything
but I feel like African American culture has definitely
you say
mainstream.
No, you say the word, the African American culture. What is it? Okay, fine.
Like hip hop.
Oh,
not
Jesus
hip hop. I mean, I don't want to.
Look,
yes, I feel like
you haven't thought about it. It's fine. Don't make things up.
I'm not making it up.
Okay,
I feel like
then educate me. You feel. You should know. You were born and raised here.
Yes, but I have a Haitian.
Are you African American?
I'm Haitian American.
That's correct. Do you see why you were being specific with that? Because anybody who encounters you already knows you before. If they know you are Haitian, at least two things comes to their mind.
What is that?
If they've been to Haiti, they can look at work ethics and they say, yes, Haitians, I know them. Service industry, they know where they do well. Food, they can say yes. And even language, Creole.
Right.
And they can say, oh, I love Haitians. Mm-hmm. Because they saw the culture in abstract before they encountered you. Mm-hmm. So people go over the bridge of your culture, your tradition, your customs, and that helps them to know how to
address it.
Exactly. I'm saying to you, any people who ask for these things, which are abstract, freedom, for example, independence, for example, and civil rights, for example, voting rights, for example, you must have a foundation on which these things are going to balance. because the people there have to uniformly agree with consensus. This is our way of life. The do's and the don'ts involved in our culture. Even you have to create an artificial culture.
Is that why the civil rights movement is considered dead?
It's dead and useless. They got it, but they could not balance it on any foundation.
And I see a lot of UK people speaking about black Americans. The UK, Africans, Caribbeans, a lot of their talking points is black Americans don't have culture. What do you say to those people who say that?
That's a projection. We are the culture here. Our lineage goes back to this country longer than the lineage to their country because their countries are relatively new. Not just West Africa, all of Africa. Many of those countries were basically created in the 1800s at the Berlin Conference. They don't have a deep, rich culture. That's why a lot of them have to leave because of a lot of tribalism. They're not as deeply rooted as they're supposed to be. They do a lot of projecting onto us. Our culture is so deeply rooted here. Everything about American culture that is good comes from foundational Black Americans. True. The food, the dance, the slang, the sports, the entertainment, all of the music genres was created by foundational Black Americans. We are the culture. And they know this because if you go to their countries, they're acting like us. We're not acting like them.
Of America, right? But what is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe have a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians, the Chinese, everybody speak their language outside English. What do you speak? What is the trace of your culture you're talking about? What is the American culture? I want to know what is the Black American culture. I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pim culture? The gang banging culture? Is that the culture? Bro, the Black American culture is about wearing, let's say, wearing the Nikes, they want to be on the trend game, you know? These are the culture. But I don't know why the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of Black people around the world, or they should be the face of Black people around the world. Why? Bro, you can have your face. See, you don't even have to declare yourself that you are not African, you are not African American. Bro, nobody give a flying damn about what you think about yourself. That's your own opinion and your own mentality, your own narrative of everything, how you are. That nobody cares. But bringing all your fights about Africa, bro, I don't get it. You talk about culture every time. What is the culture? I want to know. Genuinely, I'm asking. The hip hop. You want to say the hip hop? The music is your culture. I don't get it. Eminem is not black, but he do more hip hop probably than the Black Americans. I don't get the culture you're talking about. Maybe because you guys dominate the basketball, the sports game in America, you guys dominate. Is that the culture? Sport is not culture, bro. Let me educate you. You don't have any language you speak outside English. You don't have a tribe. Culture has traces. You don't have any culture. But you always say culture. Bro, you don't have culture. Your culture is about dressing, looking nice, and wearing Nikes. They will tell you that they have the Nike. Bro, Nike is owned by a white man. I want to educate you on that too. The Nike is owned by a white man. They will tell you, hey, Michael Jordan.
I watched the viral clip of that bald-headed African dude that was talking to that Haitian lady on his podcast about how Black Americans, we're the only people that don't have a culture, that don't have any value systems, any traditions, any taboos, blah, blah, blah. And I've watched some different takes on this, but I actually have a little bit of a different take. Okay, so my microphone just went out. But anyways, I have a little bit of a different take because listening to that clip made me realize something about the way that Africans view culture and traditions when it comes to Black people. So the reason why Africans say stuff like Black Americans don't have culture, we don't know who we are, we don't know where we come from, is because our culture in America doesn't center Africa. So what I mean by that is, if you look at like the Caribbean and South America, a lot of their culture and traditions mimic cultures or mimic the things that are done culturally in Africa, in different parts of Africa. So they've taken a lot of that African tradition and incorporated it into their cultures down in the Caribbean and in South America. So that's why they're not going to tell them that they don't know who they are, they don't know where they came from. they're lost. They're not going to say that to them because their culture, a lot of their culture resembles that different cultures in Africa. Whereas in America, as Black Americans, most of our culture, especially not mainstream culture, does not resemble anything African. Our culture does not center Africa. I don't think that Africans can really wrap their head around the idea of a group of Black people who just came up, who came up with their own culture that's based off of their own experience and that has absolutely nothing to do with anywhere on the continent of Africa. So in their eyes, it's like, you guys must be lost because you don't center Africa in your culture. You don't center Africa in the things that you do. Nothing that you do resembles African, anything in Africa. You don't resemble. We can't draw any parallels between what you guys are doing in America into Africa. I mean, even if we're just talking about lifestyles, like when you look at Haiti and Nigeria, you're not going to really see too much difference between a city in Haiti and a city in Nigeria. It's still full of scrap metal housing made out of shipping containers. There's extreme poverty in both of those areas, and they really kind of mirror each other in a lot of ways. And even in Jamaica, like certain parts of Jamaica could look similar to somewhere in Ghana or somewhere. So I feel like they have more of like that connection. Like, so I really feel like Africans look at Caribbeans and they see a lot of themselves in the lifestyles of the people there, but they don't see the reflection of themselves in us. And I think that they look at that as like somehow we are lost, or we don't have any pride, or because we don't feel connected to Africa. So if we're Black and we don't feel connected to Africa, that means that there's something wrong with us, and that means that we're lost. They say that Black Americans have main character syndrome and we're self-centered, but yet the way that they view culture, and the reason why they tell us that we don't know who we are, and we don't have a culture, or we don't have traditions, or we don't, we're just lost, is because our culture doesn't resemble theirs. Our culture doesn't center Africa, but somehow we're the main character. But aside from all of that, I don't feel like anybody has the right to tell somebody else that they don't have a culture. You don't have a right to speak on another group of people's lifestyle. Like, you just, and the lady that he was sitting across from, honestly, I just don't think that her elevator goes to the top floor. I don't think that she has the mental bandwidth to engage in a conversation like that. But I feel like a lot of times they pick people like that specifically that they know won't really have no pushback, that don't have the mental capacity to go back and forth with them and actually educate them. Because apparently she did not. She just sat there looking like Boo Boo the Fool and had no rebuttals at all. So, but anyways, that's my take.
All right, Your Majesties, we heard all that. What do you think? What is your opinion? Are you of the opinion that African Americans have no culture, or you are of the opinion that they do have a culture? The thing here is that you heard her, she was a bit specific when she was asked, and she said she was Asian American, okay? And I've heard a lot of times where some persons will say African American, they are no African American. They will be so specific. I am Nigerian American, or I am Ghanaian American, or I am Senegalese American, I am Malian American, I am, Burkina Faso American. You understand. But when it comes to African American, they feel like it's too broad. And it's like an empty container with so much sound. So to be specific, they boil it down to where exactly they know their origin came from. Now, the thing here is that if African American, based on this discussion, okay, if African Americans do not have a culture, is it any fault of theirs that they do not have a culture? Because these are a group of people who were taken, their ancestors were taken away. Some of them were sold into slavery, and they went to a foreign land. They had to build up life. Some of them forgot who they were. Okay, a lot do not remember, except they go extra miles to spend the money and do some, scientific tests to really know where they came from, where their origin came from. Or I want to find out where I really came from. Most of you have delved into it. A lot of you know who you are now. You know whether you're from east, west, north, central part of the continent. You are aware, especially those who identify as African. I'm talking to those who identify as Africans. I'm not talking to those who do not identify as African. And mind you, this is not a call to make all of you African American. Because some persons might come here and begin to say, oh, we are not African American, we are American, we own this land. No, I'm not arguing that with you, right? What I'm saying is I'm talking to those who had known who they are, who had known where they come from in the continent. This is the group of people I'm having this discussion with, Your Majesties. Now, like I was saying from the beginning, the reason why it seemed like African American has no culture is because these are people from different parts, different corner, different color of the soil coming together in one place, and then just like a generalization of these people, each of them have where they originated from. In as much as we came from Africa, there is a place where we come from Africa, because Africa is a continent, right? The largest on planet Earth. Africa is the largest continent on planet Earth. At that, forget about what you see on the map. That was even out for discussion recently when the AU said they want the world to change what the map is, because it's not portraying Africa well. Africa is a continent that is the largest on planet Earth. So why should Africa be drawn so tiny as if Africa is... Anyway, this all boils down still to white supremacy. They're not giving us our flowers, that which is due to us. They always want to push us down there to make us feel like we are not important. That is still part of the plan, Your Majesties. So what I'm saying is that if at all the African Americans do not have a culture, it's no fault of theirs. Okay? At the process where they were being transported from the continent outside, they lost a lot of things. They lost their self at the process. And that's why most of the times when we talk about African Americans and Africans in the continent, those are in the diaspora and those in the continent, I keep saying it here, we should be a bit fair when we are having deliberations. Okay? It's no fault of those who are outside to be taken away. They didn't bargain for that. And it's no fault of those who are in the continent not to be taught the right thing. They didn't bargain for it. We have all been wronged equally. That is what I'm saying. Those in the continent, those outside, we share the same pain and sorrow in different ways. Because those who were left in the continent never enjoyed better than those who were outside. Or those outside didn't suffer less. The same treatment that was given to those outside was the same treatment that was given to those who remained in the motherland. The evil that Europe and America did to the motherland is such that sometimes when you begin to go back to history, I tell you, you will not like these people. You will not. You see the Holocaust in Congo, what Leopold did to the Congolese. 10 million human beings were unalive by this man. 10 million. Just imagine 10 million souls are haunting just a single person. Your Majesties. And you look into Namibia, the same thing, there was a Holocaust there. In short, there is no country in the continent that there was no Holocaust. Every country in the motherland, they unalive millions of Africans. So it's good once in a while we do some of this deliberation, talk to ourselves like this so that we can gradually bridge that gap. So this issue of African Americans have no culture, I think is something that we should be throwing away gradually, because that is with the consent of those who are involved, right? Because there are some who will say, okay, leave us alone. That is not what we're doing here. We're not leaving you alone. We're not leaving you alone because you're part of us. And we believe you will not leave us alone because we are part of you. That is the spirit, that is the unity. It is in our unity that we succeed, we excel, we progress. in our division will be destroyed. So let's choose wisely. I'm going to leave you here today. What do you think? Leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties. Until then, I'll see you in my next one. I love yourself, love others. Stay safe, stay positive. Always, Your Majesties. Bye for now.